Okay, this is day 4 of the turbo install. You'll see the turbo mounted. The bracket doesn't connect up to the turbo. I was told by Works that they'll be creating a new bracket for larger turbos and ball bearing turbos. So I have to remove that bracket and continue on with the installation. Yeah, so let's get cracking. Okay, I've prepped the battery tray. I've repainted that to cover all the paint that was affected by the battery acid. Now it's time to actually install the turbo for the final time. Before I do that, I just need to make sure that the heat wrap is on properly and that the turbo goes in easily. It doesn't bind on anything. Okay, here we have the turbo mounted to the up pipe. The bolts to the turbo have been torqued and it's ready to go in. Okay, now the turbo is installed on the up pipe. It's looking quite sturdy there. We'll come around to here. We can see where it looks, yeah, it's looking good. Now the next thing is the downpipe. Okay, I was mistaken about the next thing being the downpipe. As you can see, I've installed the water hoses to the left and right hand side of the turbo and also connected the oil line. The next thing on the list is to do the intake into the compressor. The intake I've got just pre-assembled on the ground here, and that will have to run around from the turbo to the front airbox. I will also have to install the airbox. Okay, we've now got the air inlet mounted into the car. I haven't done the hose clamps up yet. It seems that we are very close to the shock tower there with the turbo, near the turbo. According to the instructions it should be an inch, but the turbo must be slightly different from the one that they are speccing. I'll have to find out whether that is okay. So everything is fairly tight. I have to just adjust the piping a little bit to make sure it sits properly and tighten the clamps up. Okay, the progress so far. The clearance from the turbo and the compressor input is problematic, and I've contacted Works to find out if there was anything that I've done wrong. I'm just trying to connect the downpipe just to make sure that we've got clearance for that. In the meantime, I've also been working on installing the electric pump. As you can see, the pump is now installed and we are going to plumb it in the not too distant future. Okay, I have completed the water pump electrics. Now I'm going to connect the main hoses and put them up to the car. This is all out of order, of course, because I'm still wondering whether I can get the turbo mounted correctly. As you can see, I've disconnected the water hoses and the oil line feed, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, now we've got the hoses connected to the radiator. We've got them also connected to the pump there, and they come up into the engine bay to be connected to the actual intercooler itself. Okay, now we're going to install the diverter, or we're going to assemble the diverter valve. We've got some hoses. This is the diverter valve. We need to insert that here, tighten it. Short hose goes on the bottom, so we need to clamp that one off as well. So, slap tighten this up. Okay, so we've got that there. We need to then get the T. We need to connect a vacuum hose here. Just a little bit of lube will help here. And then just make sure it's clamped off. Like so. Okay, I've just finished the last bit of what I can do today. I connected up the vacuum pipe to the diverter valve, which will go in the between the intake and the throttle body. The only other thing that needs, well, we're basically just waiting for the confirmation of whether I've got the turbo installed correctly. And once that's done, we need to button everything up, put in the downpipe, and then put in the battery tray and the battery, and then load the tune. So we need to wait for Works and see what they recommend we do.